For centuries, we've stared at the Great Pyramids of Giza, monuments of impossible scale and precision, and asked, how? The official story of ramps and sheer human will has always felt incomplete. But what if the answer isn't buried in the sands of Egypt, but scattered among the stars? What if the builders weren't just men, but men guided by something older? Our story begins not in 2500 BC, but 50,000 years earlier. A vessel, sleek and dark against the cosmos, limps towards a vibrant blue marble. They are the architects, a species whose home star was dying. They were surveyors, explorers, seeking a new world. Earth was perfect, but they were few, their technology damaged during their arduous journey. They could not conquer, nor did they wish to. They chose to observe, to wait, to integrate. For millennia, they watched humanity's slow, faltering crawl towards civilization. They saw the spark of ingenuity, the capacity for belief, the desire to build something that would outlast a single lifetime. They were patient. They intermingled subtly, their lifespan stretching for thousands of years. Their DNA, slightly different, blended into the human gene pool, leaving faint traces, a predisposition for mathematics, an innate understanding of spatial geometry, a flicker of what we might call genius. Then came the moment. Humanity was ready. In the fertile lands of the Nile, a civilization bloomed with unprecedented speed. The architects, now indistinguishable from the Egyptians around them, rose to positions of influence. They were the high priests, the viziers, the master builders. They didn't need to reveal their alien nature. They simply needed to guide. They weren't building tombs. Not in the way we think. The pyramids were far more than that. The architect Imhotep, a name you might recognize passed down through legend, stood before the young pharaoh Khufu. He didn't speak of flying ships or distant stars. He spoke of eternity, of the pharaoh's divine journey to the heavens to join the gods among the stars. It was a story the Egyptians could understand, a belief they could rally behind. The truth was simply translated into a language of faith. So how did they do it? Forget massive ramps and millions of slaves. The architect's true gift was the manipulation of vibration and frequency. They held devices, disguised as sacred staffs or ankhs, that were in reality sophisticated sonic resonators. By attuning these devices to the specific resonant frequency of the limestone blocks, they could temporarily nullify their mass, making a 2-ton block feel as light as a papyrus scroll. Picture this. A quarry, miles from Giza. A priest, an architect in disguise, strikes a tuning fork. He then touches his staff to a massive, freshly cut block of limestone. There's a low hum, a shimmer in the air around the stone. The workers, who believe this is divine magic, a blessing from Ra, easily slide the block onto a wooden sled. They aren't straining under immense weight. They are merely guiding an object that has been rendered nearly weightless. The magic would last just long enough to transport the block and lift it into place. Teams of skilled masons, guided by the architect's flawless geometric knowledge, would then set the stone. The hum would fade, and gravity would reclaim its prize, locking the block into position with micron-perfect precision. This is why we find no evidence of ramps large enough to do the job. Why the tool marks are so perplexing. The tools weren't brute force, they were finesse. The water shafts weren't for pouring water. They were conduits, designed to carry and amplify the sonic frequencies throughout the construction site from a central resonator buried deep beneath the plateau. The air shafts in the king's chamber, they weren't for air. They are precise astronomical alignments, pointing to the architect's lost home in the Orion constellation and to other star systems they had once charted. But why? Why go to all this trouble? It wasn't for a single pharaoh's ego. The pyramids were a network, 3 of them, on the Giza plateau, mirroring the 3 stars of Orion's belt. This wasn't a coincidence, it was a schematic. The unique shape of the pyramid, the specific type of limestone, the granite-lined inner chambers. It was all designed to function as a massive energy accumulator and transmitter. The architects were dying out. Their long lives were finally nearing an end, and their damaged ship could not be repaired. They knew their descendants, now mostly human, would forget their origins. The pyramids were their final message, their legacy, and their failsafe. They were designed to passively gather the Earth's subtle telluric and electromagnetic energies, focusing them into the king's chamber. For thousands of years, this energy has been building, stored within the crystalline structure of the granite. The architects believed that one day, when humanity reached a certain level of technological and spiritual maturity, we would rediscover the true purpose of the pyramids. We would understand that they are not tombs, but beacons. When activated with the right frequency, a frequency we are just now beginning to understand through our own science, this stored energy could be released, not as a weapon, but as a broadcast. A focused transmission aimed at the star systems they had charted so long ago. It would be a message in a bottle on a cosmic ocean, a simple, powerful pulse that says, "We are here. We survived. We remember." The pyramids were not built by aliens for humans. They were built by our most distant ancestors, a fusion of earth and sky, as a promise. A promise that one day we would be ready to look up at Orion's belt, not just as a pattern of lights, but as a signpost pointing the way home. They are a monument to a lost past, and a key to a future we are only just beginning to unlock. The builders of the pyramids were us, guided by the faint, starlit memory of who we once were, and who we have the potential to become. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the universe's greatest mysteries, and let me know in the comments what you think the pyramid's true purpose might be. Until next time, keep questioning.